Okay, true believers, this is John Krupa. We're here at the Freedom to Draw Unsolved Mysteries. In this case today is an unexplained death. It happened in Luzerne County in a little town called Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. This is the case of Joan Marie Dymond. And as always, if you have any information on this case, it happened way back in 1969. This girl was 14 years old. And the police are asking if anybody was the graduate of Myers High School in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania in 1973 that knew this girl. Please contact these places here. They will lead you to the right places. You could also contact the Pennsylvania State Police. Guys, don't contact me. I can't do anything. I'm just an artist. But you need to contact these places. Let's get into the case of Joan Marie Dymond in a matter of seconds, guys. Alright, guys, so we have in the background, we got some Australian themed instrumental music. Why do we have that? Because it is National Kangaroo Care Day. And what do you think of kangaroos? You think of Australia, of course. So we got some Australian music in the background. We're going to tell you about Joan Marie Dymond's case as I draw it and as we listen to this Australian themed music. Remains identified as those of a 14-year-old girl who went missing in 1969. Pennsylvania police say the investigation remains active to this day. A decade ago, remains were found and have been identified as those of a teenage girl who went missing in northeast Pennsylvania more than a half century ago. State police in Wilkes-Barre said that the remains were identified as those of 14-year-old Joan Marie Dymond of Wilkes-Barre, PA, who vanished from the Andover Street Park in June of 1969. So this was summer break, guys. No school was in session. She was enjoying her summer break, and she went to a place called Myers High School on Cary Ave in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I believe it was right before dark. She just had eaten her supper. She told her parents she's going to go over to a nearby park. Remains found a decade ago have been identified as a 14-year-old. We never stopped pursuing answers, and this investigation remains very active. Captain Patrick Doherty, commanding officer of Pennsylvania State Troop P, said in a statement, after 53 years, the family of Joan Marie Dymond very much deserves closure. We will do everything in our power to see that they have it. And I learned today that the proceeds to get the information on this case were brought in part by a place called the Luzerne Foundation. It's a foundation in Luzerne County that took donations so the people investigating this could contact the Orthram agency that's been synonymous with solving all these cold cases. And they don't do it for free. It costs money, so This Luzerne Foundation was instrumental in this getting the identity of this girl. So they're important, guys. If you want to donate to the Luzerne Foundation, it's a good cause. Police said the remains were found in November 2012 by people digging for relics in a trash-filled depression on a former coal mining operation in Newport Township. Investigators said that they suspected foul play in the death of this young female victim, who likely died in the late 1960s. They do suspect foul play in Joan's death. As we listen to some Australian music on this National Kangaroo Care Day. I believe that's the didgeridoo you hear in the background, if I'm not wrong. The thing called the didgeridoo. The National Center for Missing and Exploiting Children released a likeness of the girl based on facial reconstruction images. Investigators sent the victim's DNA profile to national databases but got no matches. With the rise of investigative genetic genealogy using direct-to-consumer DNA databases to identify victims and perpetrators of violent crimes, the Luzerne Foundation launched a closing case fund citing the Alden Mountain Jane Doe. Alden, I think it's pronounced Alden Mountain. Alden Mountain Jane Doe. Othram Incorporated provided troopers with possible family members, including the family of Dymond, who provided DNA samples. The tests recently confirmed that the remains were hers. So like I said, that Othram service is not free. So what the Luzerne Foundation does is they take donations and they give it to these family members. They're just trying to find out what happened to their loved ones. To me, that's a good cause. So I definitely want to support them, and I will. And I encourage others to do also. According to investigators, Dymond was the daughter of George F. Dymond and his wife Ann Rose George, a World War II veteran, died in '84, and his wife died in 2000. State police are asking for the public's help to find the individuals responsible for her death. Anyone with information regarding her disappearance should call the Shikshini station at 570-542-4117. Again, Shikshini station at 570-542-4117. And as for family members, Joan Marie Dymond does have a sister that's still alive. And she saw her before she left that faithful day to the park. She saw her that morning. She said she was excited for her sister, who was expecting to have a baby. And Joan was excited about the possibility of caring and babysitting for the baby. The Pennsylvania State Police are asking for the public's help to find the person responsible for the death of Joan Marie Dymond. She was 14 years old when she disappeared from the Andover Street Park on June 25th, 1969. She was a typical teenager. She was a sweet girl and didn't deserve what happened to her, stated Suzanne Estock, Joan Dymond's sister. According to state police, the remains of the young woman, previously known as the Jane Newport Doe, were discovered in November 2012 on the grounds of a former coal mining operation in Newport Township by individuals digging for relics in a trash-filled depression in the ground. Well, that's otherwise known as scrappers. That's who found it. People that dig through junk. It's a good thing they were digging, because it led to this finding, and we're halfway there to solving this case. They just have to figure out who did this dastardly deed. After supper, she told her family she was going to the Andover Street Park in Wilkes-Barre and never returned, said Trooper Andrew Morgantini, Pennsylvania State Troop P. An examination determined the remains were those of a female estimated to be in her mid-teens to early 20s who died of suspicious foul play. Lab results indicate a high probability that she died in the late 1960s. The Criminal Investigation Unit at PSP's Shikshini station sent the victim's DNA profile to national databases for comparison to other profiles that resulted in negative results. PSP states the remains were later submitted to Othram Incorporated in March 2022 and undergo genetic genealogy testing. Now that ain't cheap, folks. So that's where the Luzerne Foundation comes in. They do a lot of good, so I will be finding out more about them in the upcoming videos, so I will tell you about them. Someone has to pay attention to these old cases for the victim's family. That's why we do this show, for the victims and their family. The victims cannot speak. As we listen to this new age kind of Australian music, because it's National Kangaroo Care Day. So if you care about kangaroos, it's your day. Trooper said Ortham Incorporated provided them with the possible family members of the Jane Newport Doe, including the family of Joan Marie Dymond, who provided DNA samples. The radiocarbon dating would give us estimate of the victim's year of death, which we didn't have before, said Trooper Morgantini. The samples were compared to DNA profiles of the remains found in 2012. Lab results received earlier this month indicated the remains of Jane Newport Doe are the remains of Joan Marie Dymond, as stated in the release. The last time I spoke with her, I was pregnant, says Joan Marie's sister. She was excited about being an aunt and me having a baby and coming down to visit, explained her sister Esta. Even though Dymond's remains have finally been identified, the case is not closed. Investigators now need your help to find the person responsible for Dymond's death. You'd be shocked at what small details can actually turn into a new lead and help us solve a case, explained Sam Sam S. We're not even going to try to pronounce his name. Luzerne County District Attorney. Maybe we could find who did this to her. It's a shame somebody so young with her whole life ahead of her was taken. I would have had a sister up until now, said Eastock, her sister. Pennsylvania State Police is asking for help to find the individual responsible for the death. Anyone with information regarding her disappearance should call Shikshini Station State Police at 570-542-4117. Also, if they're looking for people that graduated in 1973 from Myers High School that maybe possibly knew Joan Marie, just to come and talk. You never know. Any kind of information could lead to the apprehension of the person responsible for her death. So anybody graduated in 1973 at Myers High School, please contact that number that I just gave you. I believe they don't care if you identify yourself too. You can be anonymous. And that is about gonna do it for today's episode, guys. True believers, the police need your help to find this young girl's killer. 14 years old, guys. We're gonna send you out while we listen to this Australian New Age music, guys. It's National Kangaroo Care Day. Alright, peace out, true believers. This is John Krupa signing out for the freedom to draw unsolved mysteries.